Very nice.
The Warriors, well, I have to say that was Guy Diaz's wonderful artwork, and I was just able to execute his artwork by going to a prosthetics house and a prosthetics person by the name of Matthew Mungle. I gave him the designs and he made encapsulated keloids for us, and by golly, it was hard work. We got a really fabulous team of 26 makeup artists together who came in, and I had 2 makeup artists working on each warrior who came in and applied all the keloids and applied all the ears, and they did a mighty job, and they really looked fantastic, and I was very, very pleased. With the warriors, we started off very early in the morning. I mean, these people were such wonderful troopers, and of course, so were the guys who were the warriors. I previously asked them to actually shave their bodies so they didn't have any hair. And that morning they came into the hair department and they had their heads shaved, and then they came to us, and the process started of lying them down.
Okay, so now put this on right there.
They started off by putting the chest emblems on, and then going to the rib area, and then on their backs and on their arms, and then on their heads. Because we actually had a test of this in pre-production and Stephen signed off on it, Guy Diaz and myself did the warrior together to show him what they would look like. We actually did a lot of shading on their faces to bring out their features around their eyes. We dirtied their bodies up because, of course, they would never be clean running around in the areas that they were. We, of course, colored their teeth. I actually sat up at night time mixing tinted makeup colors into spirit gum so that it could be put on their teeth, and then I went and got cake decorating colors and mixed those together so that we could stain their lips and the inside of their mouths so that that would last.
2, 3, 4.
It was very exhausting, it was very time consuming, but it was so worth it to go through what we went through and all these steps to get to them where they were.
Done, baby.
Steps,
Done deal.
it's a done deal.
Yeah, baby.
It was a very interesting process, but it had its steps, but it had to work that way. And then once these guys had been done this way, they had to go back and have their hair pieces on, and then they had to come back to makeup and have the keloids reapplied to their heads.
We had to not only shave all their heads, but then their hair pieces had to be glued on and secured. And then some of them had tattooed heads around the hair pieces as well. So to get them completely ready, it took about 5 to 6 hours between hair and makeup and wardrobe.
And that was with 2 people working on them at a time. So it was very, very, very hard work.
The mud guys were much easier to get ready because they were just basically being covered with this movie mud, and they had mohawks that were sort of pulled down and messy and caked with mud, so they were much easier.
The other warriors, who we call the Mud Warriors, which again was Guy's creation, it's just he gave us some fabulous soil samples and colors of the sets of which he was doing so that I would know which color spectrum I could go into to make up the mud, which of course was made out of non-toxic clay. So if you could have seen, I think myself in particular, with a cement mixer and choosing all these non-toxic clays and then mixing them together to getting the right color so that 30 people could be absolutely covered from top to toe.
And stop! Looking, and fear backing up. Now.
And I must admit, Mary Zophres was very wonderful, and her team. They came in with all these wonderful, what I would call ear bobs, nuts which had been cut in half, and we stuck those into prosthetic ears so that they had the look of these wonderful big pieces in their ears. I really think that everybody did such a magnificent job all around. They really did. I'm very, very proud of them.